everybody. Thank you first very much for giving up your Saturday and coming along. If you're having your breakfast, please continue. I'm going to give a talk really about the educators, the mentors, and the pro-trading world, and how we're trying to match up people who are new to the space with people who are who've been there for ages, who are professionals, and can ideally help you move up to their level. So let's get started. A little bit of a background about myself. My name's Reid. I'm a director of a company called Pelican. By profession, I'm a qualified fund manager, and I actually started in the corporate finance world during the sort of the mad boom of the A market back in 2005. And I helped float. I was a junior member of a corporate finance team that helped float a company called London Capital Group. And London Capital Group was a sort of pioneer in the trading community, and it allowed people to sort of be able to access the markets very, very cheaply, and they did it very effectively. And that's what got my interest in the sort of the trading, CFD, investing world, sort of doing it yourself stuff. So the focus really of my presentation is this sort of this world of why you take control of your own money. The number one reason I think everyone knows is you're here, you want to make money. That may come in several forms. So income, so you may be a professional trader, so you're doing it actually full-time. It's actually your full income. Could be an extension of your earnings. You see it as an opportunity for you to get a car, pay for school fees, get an extension, buy a conservatory, whatever it is. Some people are quite canny. They use it as a hedging tool, so they have a portfolio of long-term investments and then hedge around the sides. That's more technical and a little bit rarer. And then, I mean, I trade. I'm not a brilliant trader, but I really enjoy it. So there's a bit of that. And again, there's a lot of other people now trying to take control of their own pensions. I have a SIP, so I manage my own money, but this is also seen as an extension to that. So that's the number one reason. Now, if you're totally new to the world of taking control of your own money, where do you start? How do you learn to do it? Now, we would say the number one reason or the number one method is find an expert. You know, if you're learning to play tennis, you go to a class and they'll teach you how to play forehand strokes from an expert pro tennis player. Other options out there are trial and error, friends' advice. I think trial and error and friends' advice are the two most common. People get given a terminal by IG Index, TD Waterhouse, Hargreaves Lansdown, have a feel about a market or a specific product, and then just go for it. There are other options. So EA packages, you can buy in systems which plug in. That again that's the extreme end of the world. And then obviously self-taught. So again, that kind of falls into trial and error. But by and large, what we're seeing is a huge growth area in that middle one, which is learn from an expert. Because people are now prepared to put their hand up and go, look, I need to learn how to do this first. I need to learn out how to use this terminal I've been given. And that creates a bit of a problem. Which expert do you choose? Well, what's on offer? It is a complete Wild West. It's probably, I would say, well, there's probably a few out there. I'm sure you could think of a few. But it's the last unregulated, unquantifiable space where people are selling their wares, and you probably have no idea who is good, who's bad, who's genuine, who can help me, who can't help me. But what's on offer? You've got courses, that's real-time courses. You can go to these away days, intense courses for sort of 8 hours in near Heathrow. Seminars, same thing. Books and CDs, these can be extension of the same courses. Then you've got one-on-one tuition, more expensive and rarer to find. Workshops, physical or virtual. So workshops they create a Skype room, for example, or a Slack room, and you can then talk about trade techniques. And then there are other things like trade analysis and signal providers. Those last three at the end there, that's really more about not necessarily teaching, but saying, this is what I'm doing, you should do the same too. And this world morphs very much into the same thing. Teaching people, but also saying, follow me. It's unregulated. It's unaudited. There's no central market. I can't compare one versus the other. I don't know what I'm comparing. What am I comparing? Some are great, so let's not deny the fact there's some really good pro traders out there, expert signal providers. Some are awful. Some are genuine, and some are focused on the upsell. And this is what partly we built Pelican for, is to try and help you work out and try and get you through without spending huge amounts of money to raise your game as a trader or a professional investor. Checklist. If you are interested in managing your own money or trading the markets, and you decide that that is the route you're going to go for, you need to find a mentor, a tutor, a pro trader. This is the top 10 list that we put together in our office that we were going through, because we've sent people on these courses just to feel out how good and bad they are. You'd be surprised that we put this at the top, price. The reason we put that at the top is that should be the warning bell. If you have someone asks you to spend 10, 20, 30,000 pounds, that is a big no-no. That is a disaster. That price alone should be telling you loads of things about what you're potentially getting yourself into. What are they actually teaching you? You must know, is it a strategy? Is it a focus? You need to know what you'll get out at the end, and then what you can do with it at the end. So again, ask these questions. Does the strategy fit with your lifestyle? That's really important and quite bizarre, because you think, well, who cares? It does. If you are a full-time electrician, you're a gardener, and you've got a strategy which requires you to sit in front of your screen all the time, it's no good for you. So that one is really important to work out what it requires you to do. Who is teaching you? What is their background? There's a few caveats here. If you've got a fund manager who used to work at Goldman's, who was head of the prop desk in a few lives ago, yeah, those are good signs, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee they're going to be any good. So backgrounds is interesting. Just poke a little and find out what exactly they're up to. Are they accountable, and can you see them trade? So often we find with mentors, pro traders, is you have no idea if they've ever placed a trade in the last 10 years. It's just a marketing front, and that's really important. You want someone who really lives and dies by the trading world. So be able to see what they've been up to is really important. What is the end product? It's a bit of a repeat of an earlier point. Are they independently endorsed? If you know of anybody that's been on the course, or they can find someone to recommend, that's really, really important. And 8, 9, 10, these are quite interesting ones which you will come across. Look out for the upsell. A lot of these systems are just marketing engines. So they get you in, they convince you that they can buy a fast car tomorrow, pay for your conservatory tomorrow, tell you how much money they made when they were in the airport going to Geneva on a Swiss skiing holiday. Again, warning signs. Trading is very, very difficult. It requires concentration, it requires risk management skills, it requires lots of things. It is not easy, so it takes time. And even for the best guys that have had a seamless rise to the top, lots of failures on the way through. So it is not a quick win, and you've got to know that. And that mentor, tutor, or expert should be telling that from the word go. So this actually, it's a bit cheeky. One of the courses we sent one of our guys on our team to go on, this was an extract of their sheet they handed out at the end of a teaser day. 50 grand. I think 50 grand may get you Eton for a year, so that's probably the best education in the world. I don't think I'd ever pay that for anything else. 34 grand for the full program. Well, that gets you a high-performance sports car, probably with a 5-year warranty. That's still got sort of the ability for me to know that I'm buying something which is warranted. None of these are. And then the last one, 19 grand, that is a conservatory, and that will be under warranty too. None of this guarantees you anything, that you'll get anything at the end of it. It's just numbers and big numbers. And I think what sadly, a few of these very, very highly marketed systems are doing is they've realized that if they throw these big numbers at you, you then believe that you're buying something of quality, and that is not the case. So this question always comes up, and do you know what? I can never really answer it really well. If they're so good at trading, these pro traders and mentors, gurus, why are they mentoring? Surely they sit at home, they've got millions of pounds, and they go skiing and they trade the markets on their own. Some of them do like to talk, so they do like an audience, and that's really important to them. Some of them do actually, they're quite bumpy, so that if you look at their year end, they have good months, bad months, good months, bad months, and by having a mentoring group, then that allows them to sort of pay for their phone bill. So it's on a subscription fee. So there are a couple of reasons why, but it's always not that clear. And the best trader that we've ever seen on our platform was an ex-bond trader from Deutsche Bank, and he had put enormous positions on, and he's made millions of pounds. He didn't want to be a mentor, but he said, if anyone wants to follow me for free, but they'll be crazy because I've got no strategy. So it's interesting to see that some of the really, really good guys, you won't actually ever come across them, don't necessarily want to be mentors, but some of the mentors are genuinely very good, so before I kill the idea of them away. The other thing to note is it isn't actually all about performance. If from a mentor you can get these skills at the end of it, it's really good. So how to manage your risk. Managing your trade behavior. So a lot of this is about discipline. You know, you see a stock start to run away and you're getting quite excited about it and you get quite jittery. You need to go back to your notes, work out where your entry, where your exit, and what kind of percentage return you wanted. Stick with that and tunnel vision away from that screen. Don't get too carried away. And more often than not, managing your own human instinct is something which takes a lot of practice. Strategy focus, stick to a specific strategy. Don't get sort of torn away, oh, I've got some momentum over here, I can see Ocado running through the roof, I've got to jump over there. You've got to be able to stick with your specific strategy. Market focus, again, if you can focus on a specific series of markets, that helps, and if they can teach you that, that's really advantageous. After sales service, if they insist that they can give you a course and guide you through it, and then see you later, you see nothing after them, then that's a bit of a concern. So what you really should want to do is to make sure they can still handhold you, they can still look at your decision making, and they can still work with you at the end of it. Then that's really important. And community, power in the crowd. What happens with a lot of these courses is they have sort of Slack groups or Skype groups, and actually it's really important that you can hear people talking about their different trade decisions. They'll check each other, got overexposed on this one, oh, you shouldn't do that. So actually the power in the crowd, just making sure that you're managing what you're doing and not drifting away is actually quite relevant. And that's more of a side product away from these mentor communities. So this brings us on to what is Pelican. Pelican, I'm a director at Pelican, and it's an app. It's an app only. We'll be doing a desktop in about 3 months' time. It's a trading execution platform, so it does CFDs and spread bets. For those people who are long-time share dealers, that's 8 months away. 1,500 markets, so nothing too exciting. Now, this is the important bit here. We are FCA regulated. We have a unique regulation. I think we're the only people that have gone through the process. And that means that we are RDR compliant and we're investment managers. That means that people using our platform to execute are allowed to. Retail traders can share their trades with each other, and they can choose who they want to share their trades with, and they can choose to tap and copy, tap and discuss, tap and review, and it's that important part that we bring into the Pelican world, which allows you to look at each other, have a chat with each other, work your way through it. The institutions of Bloomberg, retailers have nothing. So I'm not saying we're Bloomberg, but this is what we're trying to allow people to do, because it's really important to qualify your trade decisions against people you trust, you know, or even people who are good at trading. I'll come through it, but yeah, I mean, the far side, you've got to connect with other traders, find mentors, become a regulated mentor, private trading rooms. That's all what you can do on the system. So it allows you to go, look, I don't want to share my trades with other people, but there are 2 or 3 people I really like or respect. I mean, I've got a friend who's a coffee trader in Geneva. I have a little group going with him, and he talks me through trading Robusta. That's exactly what our app's for. And I know that he's got an expertise in this space. But in the mentor world, bringing it back to that, this we be designed as a tool for them. So you could get direct access to their trades. They could see direct access to your trades, and they could talk you through how you manage those trading patterns, those trading strategies, and make sure you're on course. That's really what it's all about. Why is Pelican relevant to finding a mentor? Well, it's sort of become a marketplace for it. I don't know if you've heard of any of these names. Some you may haven't. Audacity, House of Trading, Easy Trader. These guys are all now using our app as private forums, private groups, public forums, public groups, with all their followings. So the mentor goes in, puts their trades on, they're live, and then you can interact, or their followers can interact with their trades, they can talk with them, discuss them, and move through. And I suppose we didn't really mean it to do this. It was designed as a WhatsApp model meets IG, but in actual fact, we were very pleased that the mentor world now, the people that are prepared to expose themselves to their followers, are now using it to show, look, we are the real deal, and we'll genuinely look after you on the way through and how you teach yourself. take you through a case study. This is a guy called Kareem Yusfi. He's a very good friend of the Pelican team, expert trader, manages a team of 30 traders based over in Shoreditch. He's been trading for years, worked at several hedge funds in the Middle East. Now, he, for example, has 2 groups on Pelican, and all his followers are there, can see him. They can see he's got an FX group and he's got a commodities group. Now, they can then see his trades as they go through. They can ask him questions about his trades. They can say, look, Kareem, trades go on. It's up to you guys if you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm going to tap and copy or tap and you can even inverse a trade. But you can see what he's doing, and therefore you can replicate it if you choose to, or do your own thing. And it's that kind of virtual world, it's not virtual, real world, that real trading floor experience allows Kareem to be answerable to all his followers. And that's what we've tried to build here. These are real trades going through, and these are real people tapping and copying. There's a leaderboard in each group, so you can just make sure that if you are buying into the fact this guy's a good trader, you can see whether he's at the top or not. Yeah, I'll go for a little bit of a sell here now with the Pelican world, but if mentors aren't your thing and you're going to go and try some of those other routes, which is self-taught or just going to listen to a friend, well, this is what Pelican does. You can trade the markets, standard stuff, standard execution stuff. You can create your own profiles. You can create your own groups, private groups, just with you and your friends. And within those groups, you can obviously chat like WhatsApp, or you can trade and share trades. You can tap on a trade, you can copy, you can inverse a trade, so if you disagree, you can go the other way. You can view it on a chart. And you can start to do some investigating about who really is a good trader and who's a bad trader. I think that wraps up our presentation. Anybody got any questions?
Why did you call it Pelican?
We were, it's a good question. I should have a really good answer to this. I was sitting around my kitchen table with my brother, and we wanted a URL. And we didn't want to call it ETX, CMC, IG, ADS, all the silly acronyms you get in the world, because it just, and for a small company, you want to stand out a little bit. And so we saw that PelicanExchange.com was available, so we bought it. And I've got some fancy friends in the advertising world who a few years ago said it was a big mistake, it was a joke name and no one liked it and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we love it, it's still there. And we put a logo together, and it stands out, I think, a little bit more than these acronyms. So it's kind of really, as a small company, you're trying to do a little bit more to get yourself noticed. Thank you. It's all free. The whole thing's free. So download the app. It's all free. It's in the App Store. It's on Google Play. What we do, like any execution system, is we make money when you trade live. So if you go and credit your wallet on our system with £100, £200, if you put a live trade through, we make the spread. So that means there's a two-way price we quote, and there's a tiny, tiny bit in the middle, normally 1 point. So if you put a point on, then we'll make a fraction of that £1. So we require volume and flow. So what Pelican is really doing is trying to encourage people to trade sensibly and wisely, but it's really the trade flow that we're after, like any other broker. What I will caveat is that those list of mentors and gurus and guys out there, and we've kind of got the market already, which is fantastic, and it's happened in the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's going really well. But they have, a lot of the really big boys have requested that we put payment walls up. Now that means that you can then discover their group on our wall, but it costs to join. So that will be going in. So, and what we do with that is we're flipping it back to the mentor. You could do it. I mean, anyone could do it. But when you create a group and create as many as you want, you can say, to join my group, it's going to cost you £20. So you may see in the next 4 or 5 months is that some of these mentor groups suddenly cost to join. But that's really them setting their parameters. And some of them are really worth it. I mean, we've got a company called Track who supply trade signals to and information to Goldman, Citigroup, JP Morgan. We've got another one called Six Financial, did the same thing. So this is really good institutional grade information you're getting, advice, ideas. This is exactly what the guys at the prop desks in the banks are getting. And that's what, and for these guys, they do charge, and that's why but they're really keen to have a retail presence. And they see us as the as the place to do it. I think what's really important is you've then got to work out whether if that person's worth it. If they're charging you £100, you go, oh, a month, is it worth it? You know, and then you can look at the statistics and see their form and say, look, yes, they've been smashing it, great, you're in. But sometimes you're thinking, actually, no, not for us, and it's really up to you. But yeah, it's free. Download it.
What's the minimum investment required?
To activate a live account, you just put £10 on. So it's not much, but certainly in certain markets, it really depends on the margin. So if you want to trade any of the UK equities, for example, potentially they'll require about £100 on deposit. It won't cost you to trade that; it costs you £1 to trade it. But what's called a margin is required. So they basically ring fence, or we ring fence that money, and that allows us to protect ourselves if the market fluctuates. But it sits in your wallet. If you make loads of money, then you close it. That margin just goes back into your wallet. But it's just really a ring fencing of your cash to make sure that you don't put loads of trades on and you haven't got the money for it.
And is there a minimum number of days you have to keep that?
No, yeah. I mean, short-term, long-term trading is really up to you. With CFD and spread bets, I don't know if people are day traders out in this audience, but by and large, they're sort of 1 day, 2 day, weeks, 2 weeks, months. If you want like a 5-year, this wouldn't be the thing for you, partly because it's a bit more expensive. It's far quicker, and you can get into the market at better prices, but if you want to hold your position for that length of time, it's just a bit more expensive, because there are overnight charges which happen monthly. It's just some standard stuff. If you go on and create when you create an account with us, you get a demo account with paper money, so you can just play around and just hit all the buttons, work it out, and actually join some of the groups, test yourself with that paper money, copy some of their trades, ask them about some stuff, and then start to see if they've got any form, and then you can work out whether it's worth going to a live account or whether it's worth doing anything else.
How many mentors do you have on your site, and do you recommend them, or how easy is it to find the best mentor for you when you use your site?
This wasn't a problem about 3 months ago, and now suddenly it's got a bit of a problem, partly because all the mentors now that are worth anything have all decided that very lucky for us, that we're the methodology of choice. So at the moment there's probably about 40, and some of these are actually quite large organisations, some are one-man shops, some are very good and some are not so good, but they're all prepared to use our app, and it does expose how good they are. How do you work out how good they are? You need to go in and have a look at their individual and the leaderboard and assess it. We'll throw in some more stats to help you, but again, if you look at my watch list or my tick list, it's what's really interesting is that some mentors are very good at the Dow, for example. Some mentors are particularly good at the FTSE, so it might be worth joining several. And again, it's very common with trading actually, is people tend to be very good at one specific market, and then they veer off that because they've got a hunch or someone's told them something, and that's when their trading policy goes out the window. So if you've got a guy that focuses on one specific market, then that's really useful.
Is it focused on stocks and equities, or do you cover FX?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, we do everything. 1,500 markets. I think there's probably, and if you include their futures and the options, then it goes up further. But yeah, all UK stocks, all US equities, all the major FX and exotic pairs, commodities, everything. Go in and hit all the buttons. It's all you can have explore around. And the interesting thing with us, if there's no market on there, you can shout and we'll have it up there within 24 hours. In Indian markets. Do you know what that's the second time we've been asked in the last 48 hours. I think we've got to start taking this a bit more seriously. Yes, not yet, but we can. In the world of trading, we've just got to phone up the exchange, and the exchanges can then give us prices on those, and then we just plug them into our system. So yeah, I think if we ask that again, we'll have to put them all up there. Yes, Clever Games, Andre Minasian. He's got go onto his group. He does a few. There's a few. I mean, if you give me your details, I can send some details through to you. Any more questions? Oh, one more.
How long has Pelican been around for?
Pelican, we built a beta version, which we launched in November 2015. But we had the license, the FCA license. We've had that for about 7 years now because we went to the FCA at the same time as people like Auditorium did it. And we went to the FCA, they went to Cyprus and did a light touch one. And then we went to the FCA and it took 3 years, it took a long time. They didn't know what we were trying to do and we had to pass exams and stuff. But then we built Pelican in November 2015, a sort of a minimal viable product, a basic product. And then launched it officially in June last year. And then it's been live and angry, if you like, for about 5 or 6 months, as in we've really started to push it a bit harder. With any financial trading instrument or mechanism, it's just got to be pretty bulletproof, and especially when you're starting to share other people's information. If people are making financial decisions on the back of that, you've got no room for making any mistakes. And you get dragged over the coals by anyone, quite rightly so, if you do make mistakes. So yeah. Thank you everyone for your time. It's been a real pleasure.